Hello everyone, you are on the 100x zoom channel. Today we have this binocular. It's relatively modern. This binocular is from around the 2000s. Pentax 16x60 PSF. And here is Roman 5, the 5th version. Such binoculars were produced around the 2000s. Such binoculars, well, actually not 16x60, but just Pentax PSP SF. There was the first version, the second version, which were produced in Japan. The third version was initially produced in Japan and then later in China. There was no fourth version, and the fifth was produced in China. To clarify, this does not mean that all these binoculars were 1660. They varied, including models like 840 and 750. In addition to what I found on the internet, that this fifth version is made in China, there is also the inscription, Made in China. So, now about its characteristics. Its weight is approximately 1200 grams, which means it is not lightweight. 16x magnification, 60 meters objective diameter. I found online that this binocular has fully multi-coated optics. I'm not quite sure. I don't know, maybe the external lens. And there is no coating. You see, the reflected rays. And the lamp, you see, reflects rays of such a white color. It should be a different one. Regarding the prisms, I look inside like this and see that they are also coated. It has this type of focusing, meaning that you see the eyepieces are, so to speak, hidden in the body. When you turn it, the eyepieces move like this. The field of view of these binoculars, as for 16x magnification, will not be large, 2.8 degrees. Regarding these oculars, or twists, I don't like them. Perhaps when the binoculars were new, things were different, but I look through the binoculars in this position, and when I press a little harder, they hide. Well, I don't like this. Next, there is this fixator here. You set the clarity for some object and then moved it like this. That's it. It doesn't rotate anymore. How necessary is this? Well, I don't know. Why? Can't you hold the binoculars in such a position and look at something? I can't say anything for sure about the image quality yet, as the binoculars have a slight haze, and I want to disassemble and clean them. Appearance. Just look at it. It's this black color, but the binoculars, it seems to me, were not very cheap for those times, in the 2000s. It probably cost either $300 or $400, well, something like that approximately. But look, the body, it is rubberized, you see. The tube. It has a rougher surface here, while the area with the prisms is smooth. It feels like it was just assembled from whatever was available. Was it really that difficult to make the two parts of the binoculars covered with the same coating so that they would look somewhat uniform? Otherwise, it turns out that somewhere the phone was broken. Here, something was unscrewed, thrown away, and a part from another binocular was installed. It seems strange to me, especially for a Pentax. This tube is definitely plastic. Everything here is plastic. Next, regarding this thread. In short, if the thread here is also plastic, then it means it is entirely plastic. I wish at least this part were metal. Essentially, one could say that the binoculars are completely plastic. How do you disassemble it? I haven't decided yet. I will try. Most likely, I will have to completely strip this fragmenting off. Cut it, and then get to the prism, which is located right here, as well as to the eyepieces. And just so I don't forget, couldn't it have been calculated better somehow? We put on the cap, and it says Pentax so nicely. Binocular is spread out over Maxun. Why is it falling? Couldn't it have been done better, right? I want to take back my words. What I said a few minutes ago, the casing in this city is metal, I was wrong. Removing the rubber coating is quite simple. You just need to pry it a bit, and just like that. With this, there is a plastic part above the prism, and there are adjustment screws in these places, and I don't know if there are screws elsewhere. Maybe there will be some here as well. So, we continue. Nothing too complicated. We unscrew 3 screws, 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one, which is somewhat larger, is located there. It's hard to reach, but it's possible. And we take out the glasses. As you can see, it's slightly hard to get them out. Like this, because there is also a snag here that needs to be bent, like this. This is what the glasses look like. You see, not very clean. Why is that haze appearing there? I really hope that they are made of glass, because if it's any kind of plastic lens, it's very dangerous to clean it, as it can get scratched. For prisms, here is the adjustment screw for this prism. Everything is glued, but I will need to take them out because, well, if you disassemble it, you have to clean everything again. Look at how the Chinese at the Japanese enterprise have made an effort. Look, you see, the prism is mounted on gray cement, but on the other side, it is covered in black. There are also anti-glare caps on the prisms. So they, you see, thought about ensuring that nothing would happen even from the gray cement. I believe this is a plus for binoculars. I have rarely seen something where one side is like black sealant and the other is gray, because on this side it is simply gray. The left lens is disassembled. I check to see if it can be unscrewed. And now I will show on the right lens. First of all, it is necessary to remove this rubber coating. Next, we unscrew 3 screws. We separate these 2 halves. This is how you should unscrew them. More precisely, it can be done like this. We do everything very carefully, and we hope that this middle lens will be spotlessly clean. And indeed, it is clean. This is very good because it is plastic. I'm even afraid to touch it, because as soon as I start to clean it, scratches appear immediately. Glass is much more durable. That's it. This needs to be cleaned. Here is the locking ring. It needs to be unscrewed to remove this lens. This one is glass, and this one is also glass, and the one in the middle is plastic. I also want to add that looking through the binoculars, I noticed the edges of this detail. And do you see what it is like? I mean, this is how it was made at the factory. I don't really understand. Isn't it possible to somehow align it? Otherwise, it turns out that when you look, you can see such irregularities out of the corner of your eye, as they say. The binoculars, in essence, are assembled. You see, in this state, they can be slightly adjusted, that is, collimated. Collimation can be done this way. You need to take the star T5 right here. I initially thought it would be a screwdriver here. It turns out that I should have taken the star. You basically have it in this form, and then you essentially give this covering. Well, before I start taking pictures through it, I will say right away that I expected much better results.
Well, let's take a look now, and to be honest, you can see for yourself that the picture is not impressive at all. The center of the image is clear, but as you can see, this blurriness is quite noticeable at the edges. I think that the plastic lens has a very strong negative impact on image quality. There is also noticeable chromatic aberration, especially at the edges. When there is a change in color of one object against the background of another, the purple and green colors are quite prominently noticeable. To be honest, I expected much better quality from a Japanese binocular, especially from Pentax. Although the binoculars are made in China, I still do not believe that the quality should decline because of that. If anyone has similar binoculars, either first or second generation, that were made in Japan, please share your thoughts about your binoculars in the comments. Here, do you see the picture is a little better, the distance is closer, and somehow the spherical aberration seems less noticeable, but it is still there and we still have noticeable aberration. Thank you all for watching the video. Don't forget to support the channel, give a like to the video, and see you next time.